Getting to the money, I be getting to the back. People think I'm funny cause I always make them laugh. I ain't even being funny, I be really spitting facts. I'm about balance and I got talents. Every challenge I overcome. Low key is savage, never be average. Give me a task and I'll get it done. Minding my business whenever I come in. I'm hitting in business while I'm having fun. I ain't worried about winning, but that would be dumb cause there's no competition. I already won, huh? Yeah.
Peace, 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 family. How you all doing? I hope all is well with you. My name is Keisha. I'm the owner of Astrologiks, and I am your astrology coach. Today, I'm going to be discussing the Pisces lunar eclipse happening on September 7th. We're just gonna bring up the screen here so we can look at the chart. So anytime we have a full moon, it's always opposite the sun. So here's the moon, opposite the sun. And you can see now the north node is closer. So this is a north node eclipse. And Saturn will enter or retrograde back into Pisces, conjunct this eclipse. And yeah, it's going to be a big deal. I actually really like this lunar eclipse, to be honest. And we'll talk a little bit about why, but for the most part, yeah. So you want to look at where your Pisces area of life is. That's where this will be lighting up. This will be at 15 degrees, again happening on September 7th. Now, the last eclipse we had in Pisces was in March. So you could be thinking back to then to see what was going on. There'll be some kind of culmination, completion, or just more pieces to a puzzle or understanding of something that you're meant to learn in your Pisces area of life. Lunar eclipses are a lot more stronger, more powerful. They're like full moons on steroids. And the ancient symbols of the eclipses is Rahu and Ketu, or Ouroboros, or Arubaros. You know, everybody says it differently, which is a symbol of a snake eating its tail. It's like the energy of Pluto or the underworlds. It's very intense. You know, it's like an insatiable hunger or appetite for forward movement and success towards Pisces themes. It could feel like a bottomless pit or like an emptiness, something you can never get enough of, or it's hard to fulfill. That's just the nature of this energy. It kind of actually reminds me of the Fool card. You know, when you fall into something blindly, because you're trying to fulfill some kind of desire. I was actually thinking of the multiverse of madness with Doctor Strange and WandaVision. This is what I was thinking about when I was writing this. I don't know if anybody's ever seen the movie, but it kind of reminded me, this particular energy reminded me of that movie where American Chavez, which is another superhero who was trying to get back to her family. So as a young child, she has the power to open up different portals to anywhere and any time of history, right? That's her power. And she um, got really scared at a young age for something that happened when she was with her mom, and it took her mom into one of the portals. And she didn't know how to get her mom back or how to find her because she never really learned how to use her superpower. And so for a really long time, she lived her life living in regret, remorse, trauma from feeling like, she sent her mom away and she can't find her. And so she would dream about falling through different portals, but she was really looking for her mother. And because Pisces is subconscious mind, dreams, illusions, delusions, signs, symbols, and synchronicities, I was like, this is like a perfect example of how this could be playing out for a lot of people where there's some kind of trauma that you've experienced at any given time. It doesn't necessarily have to be childhood trauma, through your relationships with others, and not just romantic. I mean, all relationships that you have experienced something that triggered you somehow, and then you turned it into your reality or your bottomless pit or your um, desire, something that you wanted to chase, to go behind, to fall behind, to feel that, to try to fill that void endlessly, but perhaps, without structure, without guidance, without some kind of knowledge or know-how, how to get out of it. And this could look many different ways for people. It really depends on where this is happening in your chart, what house it's happening will give you more, um, you know, details on how this could be playing out for you. But just, as a general example, um, I think what this full moon is really trying to show us is how to fulfill our desires, but with more structure, faith, um, and spiritual practice, um, healthy boundaries and habits and patterns, right? Because we're talking about the opposite sign here with Sun and Virgo, learning how to unlearn and relearn old patterns and habits through some kind of studying or your lineage. Pisces is ruled by Neptune, which is still in Aries. And so this is definitely about some kind of self-evolution, some kind of awakening that we're being asked to go through in some way, shape, or form to evolve and look from things from a higher perspective. And unfortunately, those things could come through some kind of shattering of illusion through some kind of trauma you've experienced that you've spent a lot of time repeating patterns and habits that just kept you in a circle, eating your own tail, repeating the same mistakes over and over again, expecting a different response, right? And having no structure or mentor or guidance. And some of the ways you can heal some of those things when you look at Jupiter trying this energy is in Cancer, home and family, your roots, where you come from, history, your home environment, having a place of peace, somewhere where you can go to rest, relax, and retreat. Um, Being in that state of clearness, of calmness, peace, be still, so that you can hear the signs, symbols, and synchronicities that are trying to show you, guide you the way to your destiny. North Node is your destiny. where you're meant to be or learn or grow and evolve, right? And so for a lot of people, this might show up like, well, you're experiencing instances of trauma or re-trigger trauma um, through the people, places, and things that you're connected to. And you can start to feel like everything in your life is falling apart. Nothing's working. You might try something, but you're not getting responses. You're not getting feedback. You're not getting help. You're not getting support. You don't have the money. You have a lack mindset. You feel lost. You feel confused. I don't feel worthy. I don't deserve this. All these kind of subconscious thoughts that we kind of make our reality when we don't have knowledge of self, right? And we can kind of get caught up into that. And then they become labels, right? And now it's our reality. You're a victim, you're bottom of the barrel, you self-sabotage, um, you can't keep anything or hold anything, or your creativity can feel blocked, your blessings can feel blocked. And in order to come out of that, you have to surrender. This is about surrendering, going through some kind of redemption, grief, the stages of grief, letting go, releasing, power, the belief that you have the control to change things that you don't have control over, right? These could be your involuntary, these can represent the things that come to us involuntary. Like we fall asleep, you wake up, you don't have no control over that, right? Um, and so it's really hard to grasp Piscean energy because it really is 5D energy, and so how do you bring that knowledge into the 3D and use it as a guide or a structure or a path on which to follow to not get caught up in the things outside of us that we don't have control over? You have to surrender first. You have to admit that there are some things that you don't know, that you don't have control over, or that not, or to not be in the victim mentality of like, everything's happening to me when it's really happening for you. So there's that unlearn and relearn process. And it can be really hard. It's not an easy energy to master because it's nothing you can touch, feel. It's very emotional and subconscious and ethereal. It's illusionary. It's visions. It's, understanding what meditation is really all about and how to gain control of those unconscious thoughts to put them in, like use them as puzzle pieces and put them together until you make up a different script for yourself, right? But there's a lot of things that kind of block those things, especially if you've been doing this for a really long time and it's now your reality. It might be hard to see something other than what you've already been doing for such a long time. And so where's the hope? You know, and that's kind of what this Piscean energy, I think, is giving people an opportunity to change or look at differently. But again, starting from the bottom, you might be that person who's really like a self-sabotager, or you hide who you truly are. You wear a mask, and you blame people for the things that happen to you. Um, you don't take responsibility for the things that are happening to yourself. Um, you could have experienced something really traumatic and you don't trust anybody, or it's hard for you to open up to others emotionally because of something traumatic that you've experienced. This is going to get intensified. But again, it's not happening to you, it's happening for you so that you can surrender. Just let go. Just let go, release. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe you've experienced this where you've gone through something, you just fall to your knees and you just start crying, like, and afterwards you feel a sense of relief. That state of that emotion, that state of feeling after you release is where you want to be. That is a meditative state. That's a state of saying, I'm willing to let go so that God, spirits, your guides, passed away loved ones, whatever your spiritual beliefs or practices are, can come in to help you. And these are where you get the kind of sayings where, you have the footprint um, quote. I don't know if anybody, I don't even know the name. I don't know the name of the quote. I just know that there's like this picture of like footprints and somebody's being carried, and they say these are the times when if you believe in God, or again, whomever you believe in, when they come in and they carry you, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus took the wheel, and miracles happen, where you was down and out in the physical form. You were crying, you were in a meditative state, you let go, you're completely unattached to what's going on in the world. You're, feeling like I don't know what else to do. I don't know where else to go. I don't know how else to solve this problem. So you release, you let go, and you surrender, and you say, you know what? Whatever happens, happens. Right? And this is where your spirit guides, or, the universe comes in and starts to guide you. So now you're paying attention to signs, symbols, synchronicities subconsciously. Some people will do this very consciously, the people who have been on their healing journey and they've gotten to a certain point where they have faith, they have hope, they understand these times are meant for healing, licking your own wounds, filling up your cup, getting rest, eating right, resting, relaxing, self-care, you know, it's just it's just a time of rest, a time to rest and retreat and take care of you, because you are the only one you have control over. You are the only one that you can dictate how your life is going to play out by the choices that you make. And you master that in these moments of surrender. And you learn how to have faith in these times when things aren't working out. It's just like, it's just not time. It's like eating a fruit that's not ripe. You wouldn't do that. You would put it back on, to finish until that fruit finishes fully coming to, until it becomes ripe. And then you eat it. And that's just one of these times. It's really just a time to go inward, to work on yourself, to really look at your emotions, to assess your emotions, maybe doing some journaling. If you're into counseling, you can do that. Working out is really good. Having some kind of affirmations. I like doing affirmations in my own voice and listening to it as a way to build self-confidence. This is me or my higher self telling me, whatever it is I'm trying to manifest, or to help me stay grounded. Um, you can do mirror magic here, looking in the mirror and being truly and completely honest with yourself, being comfortable enough to look at yourself at a time when you're at your lowest and saying, I am worthy. I can do better. I am going to change. I can transform and make the necessary changes. I can do better. These types of things become super, super important uh, to do at this time as a way to heal and surrender, and wait till the fruit is ripe before you start making more changes or assumptions about what exactly is going on, because you might not be seeing things too clearly. um, and it's easy to, again, depending on what spectrum of this you're on, either be in the negative and say, oh my God, my life is ruined, nothing's never ever going to work out for me, or you just say, um, peace be still. And a lot of this is not just, personally, then you have to deal with, the societal norms and environment that's unhealthy, and how that is contributing to your ability to heal and move on. And how do you do that? How do you address those outer um, situations by getting grounded and confident within yourself, doing the self work, doing the healing, so that when you're in chaos, you can still stand still in the midst of turbulence or drama or, some kind of chaos. This is what these times typically teach us. This is what North nodes, I think, teach us the most. Um, and so a lot of this is going to be about, what's been hidden subconsciously that we have to let go of, needs to come up and out in the open so that it can be addressed. Some people are going to experience this um, because they have a certain sense of peace where people are reaching out to them. Pisces can often be the energy of somebody who is reluctant enough to um, where you're in a position where it's not happening, the drama, the turbulence, the things that are going on, unfortunate for other people. Um, you're just a innocent bystander in a situation where you're just witnessing it. Um, Especially if you're doing the healing and you're doing it right. But it could be either or. This could be that you still get to learn by way of observation, you know? Um, you get to step outside of a situation and look at it from a different perspective as everybody else in the situation. And you might be the person who's kind of the mediator of it all, or the one who comes in with reason, or a clear mind or solutions to a problem and try to help, but you don't always have to intervene. But that's how this could be playing out. You might be the teacher, the spirit guide, or the counselor, or, this could be somebody who's going to like an ayahuasca retreat. Um, or you're the fitness instructor. It's going to play out differently for everybody, but you are still learning through being in an observation perspective, um, on the outside looking in. Um, this could also be about challenging yourself to change to a more peaceful environment. So people could be moving, um, or people are moving out of your space and you're cleansing your space. You're doing some spiritual cleansing. Um, and changing your routines, or even, setting up particular altars, and, getting more spiritually inclined within your space so that you can have some kind of peace. Because nothing can really grow in an environment full of structure. If you are in it, and if you spend a lot of time in an environment that is not spiritually aligned, then you become that environment, right? And so even again, looking at the outside world, what you watch, um, um, what you scroll through, um, these things also become food that you take in that can be altering your subconscious mind and culminating illusions that might not be what you think it is. Or they can be very idealistic where you're like, oh, I dreamed for that, but it's in a movie. And so you only can have that particular experience if you watch that movie. But it takes away from your power and your ability to create that within your 3D realm, your environment, your real life, right? So that it can become your reality. And so Pisces is very tricky that way, where you really, really, really have to be conscious. You have to be aware of what it is you're manifesting, um, and how you're doing that. Are you building it on steady ground, something real, something honest? Are you being realistic? Saturn moving back into Pisces, where Saturn has been for the last, what does Saturn stay in the sign? 7 years? Or the 2 years, 2 years, 2 years. Saturn is, I'm thinking of Uranus. Saturn is a 2.5 year cycle. And so this could be even going way back 2 years, of a point of conception, a seed that was planted, again, positive or negative. If you was in the victim mentality, all these things are going to come back. Whatever plant seeds you planted over the last few years, even beyond that, to be quite frank, but for the sake of this video, the last 2.5 years, whatever it was what seeds you planted or what lessons you put out there, um, are going to come back for you to either see the completion of it, to get some closure, to let it go, or you're going to get an opportunity to build something stronger. Now you have an understanding, you're seeing it clearly, you understand where you went wrong, why this thing happened. That brings some kind of confidence to you, or self-awareness to you, that says, oh, it shatters an illusion, like, oh my God, I've been thinking this whole time such and such and such and such, but now I'm seeing. You could be having a lot of these type of experiences where people, places, and things are coming back to you from different timelines, spaces, and it's going to be different for everybody, where you're like, oh shit, wow, it's going to be very eye-opening, that allow some kind of breakthrough for you to move forward in a way that doesn't hold you back anymore. you know that will help you evolve to the next level of what it is that you've been holding on to or feeling bad about or not worthy of for a long time. That you get some kind of eye-opening experience that allows you to put that thing to rest with, peace and understanding and healing. It can be very healing, or you can feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulder in some way, shape, or form. Um, the Another very interesting thing about this particular eclipse cycle is that Pisces doesn't have a solar eclipse. Now, solar eclipses is when the moon and the sun are conjunct. This cycle did not have a Pisces solar eclipse. It only had lunar eclipses in Pisces, which means double the energy for releasing and letting go. Full moons are about releasing, letting go, or things coming to an end, closure, goodbyes. Unfortunately, this could be deaths too. I don't wish that on anybody, and my condolences to anybody that's experiencing those types of things. But it could also be, like, again, passed away loved ones coming back in some way, shape, or form to show you that they watch over you, they're okay, or that they support you in some kind of way. Or again, you set up an altar to show your gratitude and support to your passed away loved ones, guides, mentors, spiritual mentors, whatever your process is, right? Um, Mutable signs will feel this the most. That's Sag, Gemini, Virgo, and Pisces. Um, but everybody has Pisces somewhere in their chart, right? So it's up to you to look at your chart, know your chart, so you know, again, how this is playing out for you. But mutable energy is about being flexible, open-minded, um, and to kind of flow with the energy. So again, if you have to cry, cry. If you feel the need to let go, let go. If you feel the need to rest, rest. Don't force yourself to move forward with something if it's not working out. If it's not working out, the sign is that it's not time to move forward. And again, that's going to be different for everybody. It's not going to be everybody's stories, but you want to kind of move where the energy is allowing you to move, where you're not experiencing blockages. That's going to show you where you should be paying more attention to in your life. Um, the sun in Virgo can bring up a lot of solutions to these things, again, by um, changing your daily routine, getting a health routine, changing your diet, detoxing, taking care of your mental, spiritual health and well-being, your emotional health, getting plenty of sleep and relaxation, getting out of unhealthy environments. So if you're not detoxing your body, you're detoxing your home, getting rid of things that no longer are needed. So having yard sales, giving stuff away, volunteering, donating, you know, excuse me, all those types of things are going to be very, very helpful during this time. So going through, even this could even be your emails, your phones, photos, your drawers, dresser drawers, not your drawers. That didn't come out right. Going through your dresser drawers, your tubs of packed away stuff, really going through everything. This is a time to sort through and get real organized. We're talking about Virgo here. Getting organized in your workspace if you work, or creating a workspace at home. This could also be a really good time to feng shui actually is another way to think about that. I don't know if anybody actually even knows what feng shui is, but I would research it. But there are particular ways that you can set up your home to align with energetic flow, to bring things in and not block things out. So like having all your doors should be able to open and close, without any blockages. If you have things in spaces where it causes some kind of blockage, move them to a place or space where it's not going to interfere with anything else. That's really what spiritually what Virgo is all about when they talk about organization, and getting organized in your home. But it could just be, cleaning, like doing some real serious cleaning and decluttering. Um, mm, I talked about the trine to Cancer. Now, on a world stage, when Saturn moves back into Pisces, this could also bring in serious endings and changes in leadership and those in a position of power and authority. They're experiencing these changes as well, with Saturn moving back into Pisces retrograde. Yeah. This is huge. We're going to see a lot of governmental changes, people stepping down, new people coming in, laws. Jupiter is laws. This could be homeland laws changing around, immigration, travel, import, export, um, Yeah, it could be more on the positive side, but with the government, you just never know. On a personal level, this could be more positive. I want to be optimistic and say that this world's going to change for the better, but I'm not that optimistic. And then with Neptune and Aries retrograde, again, this is all the self work, but on a global level, just as much as we need to change and detox and we have these old patterns and habits, so does the earth. And so we can see a lot of record breaking storms, floods, hurricanes that really make some major changes in city lines and um, this could connect cities or break cities apart. You might have to create a new city. Like these are things like that can really happen here, especially when it comes to shorelines, riverbanks, and beaches, because we're talking about Pisces here. This is all about water. This could also be sinkholes and just earth changes in general. Now we know that there are also people, creating weather changes as well. And I don't really care too much for that. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of that going on too. But I also genuinely believe that this world is really just old. And, these people really fucked it up to the point where we can't really change the way Pluto and Aquarius wants us to. And that's due to the infrastructure that has been put into place to deliberately destroy it anyway, and destroy the earth and ourselves. And there's going to be a lot of recorrecting with that from Mother Nature, for sure. It's very karmic too. Very, very karmic. Um, yeah. I feel like I could say so much more about this and break it down even more, but I think I've covered just about everything that needed to be covered. I'm going to take another look, but yeah, this could also be letting go of a drug habit or some kind of addiction. Um, yeah, yeah, I think that's about all. Um, yeah, man. I like this full moon. So, as usual, family, I love and appreciate you. I hope you found this information helpful. Peace.